I've never seen a girl so obedient. He'll do whatever you tell him to do. Sister told him to shut up and he put his hand over his tongue. The soldier told him to stand still, and he was frozen in the air, as if by magic. But it wasn't magic. It was a curse he was born with. Since he was a child, he couldn't resist this power. Whenever and wherever a command is spoken, he had to follow them without question. And even though he didn't want to, he couldn't control his body. The girl's name was Annie, because she cried and cried as a child. The black fairies gave her a submissive personality. If she was told to go to sleep, she closed her eyes. If she was told to get up, she would open her eyes no matter how sleepy she was. And even though it was a character that wore her out. But when she sees her best friend being bullied, he couldn't help but stand up for them. The school bully said that Annie would bite her if she could. She didn't expect Annie to take it personally. She went up to the bully and bit him. She knew what the problem was, and she told her mother about it more than once. But there was no real solution for ordinary people. It wasn't long before his mother contracted an accidental illness. She told Annie never to tell anyone this secret. She was afraid that bad people would use it to hurt him. After handing Annie the ancestral necklace, she passed away. In no time at all, Annie had grown up to be the woman all men dreamed of. Her father found a rich stepmother for her because of a failed investment. She was joined by her two sisters. They took over Annie's room. They even took a liking to the necklace her mother had left her. But she couldn't help herself, even though she was very unhappy. That day, a handsome prince came to visit the town. Handsome and godlike, he instantly attracted the attention of countless young girls.
Prince Charles! Are you a fast runner?
Not particularly, no. Why?
In the face of the girls' hospitality, Prince was so scared that he ran away. On his way, he accidentally knocked Annie to the ground. The prince rushed to cover her mouth. He was able to escape with his life. But what the prince never expected was that Annie was not the least bit impressed by his handsome face. No matter how he introduced himself behind him, Annie always ignored him. At that moment, Annie realized that her handbag was missing.
Wait right there. I will get it.
Prince had inadvertently triggered the curse. Annie stood there helplessly. Suddenly, a carriage came galloping up from the distance, and was terrified as it drew closer and closer. He tried to run away, but the curse held him in place. But the prince appeared in time to save him. The two sisters saw this romantic scene. The eldest was so jealous that she used the curse to drive Annie away, and then she made love to the prince. The prince was so scared that he turned around and ran away. The older sister was furious at the failure of her proposal and felt that it was all Anne's fault. When she got home, she told her mother about the day's events. The stepmother also felt that Annie had delayed her daughter's happiness, so she went into a rage at home. She even threatened to cut Annie off from her best friend, because she thought her friend was behind all this. Although she was extremely upset, she cried out a lot of hurtful things when the curse was triggered. Annie cried and said a lot of hurtful things. She was tired of being controlled by others. She decided to find the Black Fairy and make her take back the curse. Before she left, her aunt gave Anne a magic book in which she could see the fairies. She found out that the fairies were attending a wedding in the city of giants. Annie set out on her journey in the night, but before she got very far, she encountered a crisis in the woods. She saw the bullies bullying the elves. A human girl with a sense of justice rushed to stop them. But in the middle of nowhere, but in the deserted forest, how can a small girl be a match for the three big men? At that moment, the genie on the wheel asked the girl to defeat them. The girl's spirits rose and she kicked her way to the top. As the elf's mouth moves more and more, as if the girl was possessed by a martial arts master, she quickly knocked the three big men out of the way. No one knew the reason for the girl's sudden strength. No one would have thought that the cause of all this, it was the girl's childhood. At that time, Annie was always crying. She attracted the attention of the Black Fairy, so she gave Annie a submissive personality. Whenever she was spoken to in a commanding manner, she had to obey them without question. At first, Annie was exhausted by this character, but she had her mother to help her. But after her mother's death, Annie's life went from bad to worse. Finally, under her stepmother's pressure, Annie had enough. With the help of her aunt, she took her spellbook with her and went to the giant's town to find the Black Fairy to lift the curse. After learning of Annie's fate, the elves decided to join Annie on her journey. But no sooner had they left than new problems began to arise. Because of the tyranny of the royal family, these monsters have long been homeless. And now that they've met a human with tender skin, they had to eat their fill.
Into the pot!
No sooner had the words left their mouths, Annie stepped into the boiling cauldron and let the monsters tie her up. She was about to be thrown into the frying pan. At the crucial moment, the prince rode in on his white horse and saved Annie from the boiling pot. Perhaps it was because of the hero's rescue. Anne's impression of the prince's tyranny changed completely. The relationship between them gradually became more and more ambiguous. Finally, with the prince's escort, they finally arrived at the giant city safely. Unfortunately, the Black Fairy had just left. Anne's goal of lifting the curse was lost. But luckily, they found out where the Black Fairy was headed next. The Black Fairy was going to the prince's coronation. So the next day, Annie followed the prince back to the castle. But she was caught in the act by her big sister. And in a fit of desperation, she found the prince's uncle. She revealed the secret of Anne's curse. She thought she could become the queen instead of Anne. But she didn't realize that the uncle had a bigger plan. The girl chained herself to a tree. At midnight, the whole tree was almost uprooted. The girl's face was filled with panic. The last thing she wanted to see happened. Just then, a dark and shiny fairy fell from the sky. The moment she saw her, Annie was stunned. Wasn't this the Black Fairy who put a curse on her when she was a child? If it wasn't for her, how could she have fallen to such a state? When she was a child, Annie was always crying. The Black Fairy gave her a submissive personality. As long as someone spoke to her in a commanding tone, she had to obey unconditionally. Now he's fallen in love with the prince, and he's made his big sister jealous. She told the prince's uncle about his secret. In order to seize the throne, the uncle asked him to assassinate the prince at the coronation ceremony, and not to tell anyone, and was heartbroken when she heard this. In order not to hurt her beloved, she had to limit herself in a special way. But then he met the Black Fairy. When she heard what happened to Annie, the Black Fairy was very upset. No one ever said they didn't like their magic. Since you want to be bound by chains, I'm going to set you free with my magic. I'll even dress you in the most beautiful dress in the world, and let you go to the prince's coronation. Though Anne's heart resisted, her body rushed to the scene. The prince was delighted to see Anne in front of him. He took her to his secret garden and proposed to her with a ring. Tears of happiness came to her eyes when the bell rang, and took out her dagger uncontrollably. She tried desperately to control her behavior, but as she got closer and closer, her heart will no longer be obedient. You will no longer be obedient! As the dagger fell, the prince saw Anne stabbing herself in the mirror. He succeeded in breaking the curse, but before he could explain, he was imprisoned by his uncle for being an assassin. Luckily, the elves learned of this through a spellbook. On the day of the coronation ceremony, the elves joined forces with the giants and monsters to infiltrate the palace and successfully rescued Annie. At that time, and also saw the plan of her uncle in the magic book. She had secretly put poison on the prince's crown. Meanwhile, the prince was preparing to be crowned in the castle. Just in the nick of time, Anne and the crowd arrived just in time. Drop that crowd! Drop that crowd, fearful of being exposed. The uncle ordered the soldiers to surround and kill them. Seeing Anne in trouble, the prince couldn't help but help her. Even though this woman once assassinated himself, with the prince's help, the soldiers were beaten back. Annie took this opportunity to tell the prince the truth. Uncle's pet tried to take advantage of the situation, but Anne stomped on it and made it run away. Seeing this, the prince realized in a flash. Seeing that the truth was exposed, the prince grabbed the crown. He put it on his head in a rage. He would rather die than to experience the taste of wearing the crown. With a cloud of smoke, he was consumed by his own ambition. The matter is finally over. The prince was about to kiss his beloved. Then her elder sister suddenly came out and ordered her not to kiss the prince. Unbeknownst to him, Anne's curse had already been lifted. Not only did she lose the necklace she stole from him, and even her boyfriend had become Annie's lover. When she thought of this, she was so upset that she burst into tears. Only Annie and the prince lived happily ever after.